Well, good morning. It's Dr. Bob Flower, and this is your Tuesday, September 17th, Master Pattern Report. Well, okay, how did we do last week? Well, it looks like we did very well. We made a call for silver on the 12th, and we saw a large move. We also called for the market to move on that particular day, and we saw another large move. And oil, and the dollar. So all four moved exactly in sync as we had projected. This week we're looking for something on the 7th, I'm sorry, the the 19th, Thursday, okay? So keep an eye on that. Our direction, we may see an up move here because the silver has and gold has pulled back, but there definitely is a play going on with the commodities. Okay, today I would like to just briefly talk to you a little bit about the master pattern itself. I mean, you know, since 2007 when we started this, we've had hundreds of accurate calls as to when the market is going to make a move. And people from all over the world, trust me when I tell you, are fascinated by this. Some of them say, well, you're psychic, stuff like that, And it's the discovery of the master pattern that has literally made tons of money for people that for ourselves, as well as people that are affiliated with us, and beyond that, brought a deeper understanding of what's going on in the world and inside of them, right? And here's what I want to tell you. I want to try and keep this one simple, but you can go to my website, drbobflower.com, and we have a number of different areas that we deal with the master pattern, including what we call natural intelligences, which we all possess, okay? But here's the bottom line. The master pattern is about the geometry of behavior, okay? Everything that we do, everything in our lives is geometry. Everything. Your hearing is structured based on geometry. Your eyes, the rods and cones in your eyes, are geometry. And certainly your brain, right? And this is what we have discovered, that there's a basic geometry, and all of these scriptures, all of these ancient sites are talking about that. This is the discovery that we made a number of years ago, and continuously, day after day, after week, after month, after year, proves us that we know what that pattern is, or how that pattern functions, what is its structure, okay? So that people say to me sometimes, well, what about free will? Well, what about it? Do we have free will? To some degree we do. In this respect, we make a decision, and there's a geometry to that decision. You can't just turn around 6 months later or 3 weeks later and eliminate that geometry. Not at this stage yet. We're not at that stage of development. Sometime in the future, maybe a couple of 100 years, we'll be able to do that when people acknowledge and respect what it is that we've discovered here. And I recognize that this is very novel and very controversial, and people think, well, Jesus, this is like witchcraft, this is like mysticism. Well, sometimes it seems like mysticism, and when bad things happen, it seems like witchcraft too. But no, that's not the case. It's pure science. And one of the great great Greek thoughts of the Greek philosophers was that God geometrizes. God was a geometer, okay? And that's basically true. Everything that we do is in a geometric harmony or disharmony, trying to get to a harmony. And what happens is we screw it up. We screw up the natural structure of things, including our own behavior. Okay? And go to the website. I've written 4 books on this for those of you who do not know. Every one of them has received accolades, you know, very structured. They're not bestsellers, but they have won awards, every one, international book awards for all different types of sections, segments: philosophy, spirituality, science, ancient history, things of this sort. Okay, so keep this in mind, that when we make these calls, we are so sure of them. I mean, rarely, it's like less than 5% of the time we miss, right? And sometimes it's because of me and the way I'm interpreting, you know, maybe I'm having an off day or whatever, or it's a mechanical thing in the system that we use to make these predictions. But to have that kind of record is wonderful, but it's a curse, because it's very difficult to get people to respond to something totally new that has such a profound effect upon their lives. And I can tell you that when I do lectures or workshops on natural intelligence, which is sort of like an offshoot of the master pattern, it changes people's lives. It makes people come to a realization well beyond where they have been in their life. It gives them control and a power, and eventually a recognition that they never had. All right? So that's what I want to say about the master pattern. Stay tuned. We'll give you some more calls coming up next week. We think that we're going to see some better times here within the next 2 to 3 weeks, although the market has been pretty damn good. But I think what we might see is a turning in the structure of the thinking of both sides. So let's call them, you know, liberal and conservative. And I think we're starting to see it. We're seeing hints of the conservatives making a move towards a centrist type, center right, and the liberals starting to break a little bit towards an understanding, not necessarily towards the center, but an understanding that there are flaws in what they practice and what they believe. And with that, what will happen is a sort of a search for the truth, so to speak, okay? Search for that middle ground where the power really is, right? So we think that may happen, for instance, with Obamacare. You know, I think it was yesterday, Warren Buffett came out and said we ought to scrap it and, you know, look for a whole new system. Hey, you know what? If both Democrats and Republicans got on board with that and worked towards that objective, that would be a big positive move for the economy and for the country. And depending on what they did with oil, for instance, if just as an example, not only with the healthcare industry, but, you know, make the healthcare industry more user-friendly and more populated with jobs, right? Different higher skilled jobs, you know, higher nursing home jobs and nursing skill jobs, things of this sort. You know? And also with a move more towards oil independence and energy independence, like into natural gas. Could change the entire genre of the American economy, because now we're going to create device machinery, equipment, natural gas centers and distribution centers and jobs, taking it away from the Mideast and South America and bringing it here into the United States, creating a wealth that this country has been always noted for, you know, from its earlier days. So there are prospects that things can change and things could be much better. Will it happen? I certainly hope so. You know, there looks to be something in the master pattern that is developing that's very big, but unfortunately, like everything else that we've done over the years, we're not sure what direction. We can see that it's big, we can see that it's happening and that it will eventually manifest itself, and our hope and our efforts are towards it being a positive thing, right? However, if it is negative, we want to be prepared, and that's part of what we're about. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.